welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Sam.
And I'm Matt.
And today we are talking about super tall skyscrapers, big gigantic buildings.
That's right, very tall buildings. So, yeah, we're talking about some of the tallest buildings in the world. Have you been to any super tall skyscrapers?
See, I don't know if I can say super tall. Of course, I've been to Taipei 101, which is pretty darn tall,
it's very tall.
And kind of scary to be on the top. But I've also been to one in Chicago that was really famous for a long time. It used to be called the Sears Tower. It's now called the Willis Tower. But one fun thing about that is you can stand on the glass, and now the glass will kind of lean out, so you'll kind of lean down over the city. Didn't think I was afraid of heights until I tried that. Now I think I'm afraid of heights.
I think any reasonable person would be afraid of being at that height.
Yeah, but what about you? Have you been to any?
I like to go see tall buildings when I travel. So when I was in Dubai, I went to see the Burj Khalifa, which is still the world's tallest skyscraper.
Okay, way taller than anything I've been to. Okay, mine are not interesting. How was that?
It was impressive. I mean, just to look up at it, you just go, oh. And so you're looking straight up to the top of it. So
wow.
It's a very impressive building, and I don't know when we're going to see any skyscraper that's taller than it.
Yeah, I know. That's what's kind of interesting, is that it feels like humans are always trying to go bigger and better, but sometimes there's just like that is just too big. So instead, we're talking about today, we're actually going to talk about the new second tallest tower in the world. So nobody quite wants to go for the first place yet, but we've got one that is going to take over the second place.
That's right, and I'm excited to learn more about this world's second tallest tower.
The world will soon have a new skyscraper. It will be the tallest building in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. It will also replace the Shanghai Tower as the world's second tallest building.
Hi, today we're talking about tall buildings, and we're talking about one of the world's second tallest building, in fact. So the title of our article today is the world's newest skyscraper, the Merdeka 118, Part 1.
Yes, and so in our title, we have this word skyscraper. So this is another word, this is a noun, and it's another word for just a really tall building. A tall, thin building. Obviously, if it's a really tall building, it probably won't be super wide. They tend to be more narrow and really tall. And we use this word skyscraper because it looks like it is actually touching the sky. So we say it's scraping the sky or scratching the sky or touching the sky. So then that has become this word skyscraper to talk about really tall buildings.
How many floors do you think a building has to have to be called a skyscraper?
Oh, that's a really good question. I actually am not totally sure. I'm sure it's got to be 60 or 80 plus.
Yeah, I think certainly more than 50.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably 60 or more.
There is probably an actual definition, but I don't know it, I'll be honest. Maybe they can put it somewhere and say how many. You know, they can fill it in later.
Okay. So the article begins. The world will soon have a new skyscraper. It will be the tallest building in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. It will also replace the Shanghai Tower as the world's second tallest building.
Oh, okay. So it's a little bit funny to say it's going to be the tallest in Malaysia and Southeast Asia, and then say it's going to become the second tallest building. So basically, it's going to be the tallest building everywhere except for the tallest building in Dubai.
That's right. So it's pretty much the tallest building anywhere except for Dubai.
Yes.
Okay. So we also mentioned it's going to replace the Shanghai Tower as the world's second tallest building. So that's a vocabulary word, which is a verb. And to replace something means to take the place of something else. So it's going to fill in a spot that something else had. So in this case, in the list of tallest buildings in the world, Before, or right now, I guess it is the Burj Khalifa and then the Shanghai Tower. But the Shanghai Tower is going to move down, and in that second place is going to be the Merdeka 118.
Yes, and so also though, it's kind of interesting. Malaysia has a lot of really tall towers. So they also have another one that you were talking about before that's pretty interesting.
They do. So another building that used to be the tallest building in the world is the Petronas Towers. And it's actually two towers because it's two twin towers that look the same. And I think they're very beautiful. I think they're some of my favorite buildings in the world.
So why do you think they're so pretty, or why do you like them so much?
I like them because there's a bit of a story with them where the architect tried to incorporate or tried to make it with many Islamic designs. So many designs that come from his religion.
Oh, that's really interesting. So there's a lot that we can learn about these super tall towers, and there are many tall towers we can learn about. But after the break, we are going to learn more about the Merdeka 118 and what's going to be interesting about it and why it's going to be so cool, I guess. And so after the break, we will learn some more about it.
This new skyscraper is the Merdeka 118. It sits in a very historic part of downtown Kuala Lumpur, and it is set to open at the end of 2022. The Merdeka 118 has 118 stories and stands at almost 679 meters. That's more than double the height of the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Welcome back. Today we're continuing to talk about one of the world's newest skyscrapers. And it's located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So the article continues. This new skyscraper is the Merdeka 118. It sits in a very historic part of downtown Kuala Lumpur. And it is set to open at the end of 2022.
Oh, so it's coming up kind of quick.
That's right. Hope I can visit.
Yeah, I wonder when, I didn't look at when they started building it. I know that they had completed kind of the outline in November of 2021.
Okay.
So I didn't realize that it still would take that long before they actually are able to open. But that's pretty cool. And so it says in this article, in this part of the reading, it says that it is located in a historic part of downtown. Historic is the adjective of the word history. So if we use this word historic, we are saying something is important in the world of history, in that country's history, in that person's history. So in some way, it is so important that it is going to be marked in history. So in this case, it's a historic area. You might have a historic landmark, a historic building that's important from in history for some reason. So that is how we use this word historic.
Okay, and as mentioned, it's in the historic downtown. So downtown is another vocabulary word, and it's an adjective, and it refers to the commercial or business area of a city or even a town. So downtown is in contrast to uptown. Uptown is more where people live and have their home lives in uptown and maybe go to work downtown.
Yes, and so then if we continue on with our reading, we have the Merdeka 118 has 118 stories and stands at almost 679 meters. So this is obviously a very tall building. Again, we wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't very, very tall and important. And you'll see we've got these two different numbers. One is how many stories and one is how many meters tall it is. So a story, when we talk about this noun for buildings, is the different levels or the different floors of a building. And so the building might be this many stories tall, and they could still have some things at the top to make it taller and make it actually stand as the tallest building or the second tallest building or whatever. But the stories are the actual places that people could rent out for business, or they could live, or in this case, I know there's going to be hotels and things like that. And so those would be all of the stories of the building.
Okay, and our next vocabulary word is meter. And meter is a noun, and it's a unit of measurement. It's about this long approximately. It's 100 centimeters makes 1 meter, and in a kilometer there are 1,000 meters. And meters are used in many countries around the world, but one exception to that is the United States.
Yes.
So how long do you think a meter is?
See, okay, I could probably tell you about how long a meter is, but that's only because we have something called a yardstick, which is 3 feet, and we are taught from when we were younger that 3 feet is basically the same as a meter. So we do have meter sticks, but we call them yardsticks.
Okay.
So I could tell you that, but I would have to tell you that it's 3 feet long. That's all I could say.
Okay. Okay, our article continues. That's more than double the height of the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Okay, so they give us kind of something to compare this tower to. So if you've ever seen the Eiffel Tower or been there and you see how tall it is, then it kind of gives you an idea that this new tower is going to be double the size of the Eiffel Tower. And double is an adjective that means 2 times as many. And so maybe you want to order some breakfast, but then you realize you're super hungry, so you want to double your order. So you want 2 times as many of whatever it is that you might be buying, maybe a sandwich or some eggs or something like that. In this case, we're talking about how the Merdeka 118 is double the Eiffel Tower, double the size.
More than double. So you could have one Eiffel Tower and then on top another Eiffel Tower. And that would still not be as tall as the Merdeka 118.
So very, very, very tall.
Anyway, I hope we'll learn more about this next time, and we'll see you then. Bye.
The world will soon have a new skyscraper. It will be the tallest building in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. It will also replace the Shanghai Tower as the world's 2nd tallest building. This new skyscraper is the Merdeka 118. It sits in a very historic part of downtown Kuala Lumpur, and it is set to open at the end of 2022. The Merdeka 118 has 118 stories and stands at almost 679 meters. That's more than double the height of the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看一下这一课的重点单字。第一个 downtown 形容词，市中心的、商业区的。Nina works in a hospital in downtown New York. Nina 在纽约市中心的医院工作。下一个单字 story 名词，楼或者是楼层。Jenny's father bought a 4-story house in London.Jenny 的爸爸在伦敦买了一间4层楼高的房子。下一个单字 meter 名词，公尺。Do you know why trees can grow taller than 100 meters? 你知道树为什么无法长超过100公尺吗？最后一个单字 double 形容词，2倍的。My sister ordered a double espresso. 我妹妹点了一杯双倍的浓缩咖啡。接着我们来看一下重点文法。第一个 A replaces B as C。A 取代 B 成为 C。Replace 是取代、代替的意思。我们来看看这个例句。Terry will replace me as the new manager. Bye bye.下一个文法 something is set to 加上动词，表示某事物预计准备好要怎么样。set 在这边当形容词，准备好的意思。我们来看看这个句子 The director's new film is set to come out next week. 那位导演的新电影预计在下周上映。最后一个文法 stand at 高达某个高度。我们来看一下这个句子 The tree stands at 90 meters. 那棵树高达90公尺。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见喽，拜拜。
Fenglin Township was the first city in Taiwan to join Cittaslow. Cittaslow is an international organization. It supports slow living in small cities. It focuses on showing what is special in small towns. After joining, Fenglin Township began many projects. The Natural Farming Project supports farmers growing food with natural skills. The Slow Food Movement shows different traditional dishes of Fenglin. The organization also helps with local products like peanuts and soy milk. With Cittaslow, Fenglin can show a slow, relaxed lifestyle.
See you next time!